Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Do you have extremely stubborn doubts? And I'm talking about those doubts that even club soda won't get out. Those kinds of doubts. There's a great technique that I'm learning from this young man, Joseph Murphy. Everyone's heard of him. He has got a great book in here about the power of the subconscious. Gives an amazing little key on how we can actually command our subconscious mind. And it's actually quite simple. But to get into it a little bit, to give a little bit of preface so we understand, the subconscious really is doing all the work for ourselves. The subconscious mind is what does the creation. And the conscious mind, I almost feel like it's our job as humans, or our reason of being here, or of a higher purpose or whatever, is to learn how to control our thoughts. Thoughts have an enormous amount of power. And they always say with great power comes great responsibility. And a lot of us do not realize how powerful these thoughts are that we just wield around willy-nilly. And so we don't quite take the care and caution that we should. Now again, subconscious is likened to that part of ourselves that just runs off and takes care of it. The part of ourselves, and I don't mean strictly from a psychological sense, because you can get into whether you're breathing and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. From a manifestation sense, from a creating a better life, enhancing your consciousness kind of sense, the subconscious runs with whatever the conscious mind is thinking and feeling about. Whatever the conscious mind has going on, whatever the conscious mind allows itself to focus on, the subconscious runs off and takes care of. It doesn't care. It does not care at all what you think or say and do. It just takes care of it. Now, there's another component that Murphy talks about with the subconscious mind that many of us don't take advantage of. The subconscious mind is the infinite intelligence. It's the part of ourselves that is God. It's the part of ourselves that is beyond our soul, or is our soul, or whatever. It knows everything. It's that higher self component that I frequently talk about, how we're in the forest, right? And all we can see is trees, but it's the part that's above the forest. It can see everything. It can see everything around us. It knows what direction to go. Our conscious self is down in the trees going, I don't know, I need to find safety, or I'm bear food if I stay out here. And we don't want that. That's bad, right? So where do I go? Higher self knows exactly where to go. It's got no problems with it at all. What we fail to do in a lot of cases is to ask, higher self, help guide us. It's great to choose to tell higher self what to do, and we'll get to that also, because that's also awesome. But sometimes when we have those moments in our life, what direction to go? Where should I go? What do I do? What am I interested in? Help me understand what I'm interested in. That subconscious mind can be extremely helpful in bringing things to your world. So the subconscious mind has a lot of awesomeness that comes with it, but at the same time, when the conscious mind's just running around willy-nilly and not actively seeking guidance or actively guiding and steering the ship, when the cart's before the horse, so to speak, that's a different story, and we start to actually manifest all sorts of crazy things in our life. Stubborn things, aren't they? They stick around a lot. Why? Because we keep noticing them. We keep thinking about them. We keep allowing ourselves to sort of spin down a path where this stubborn blockage is. Third party, maybe. Maybe we're hopping on Instagram every so often. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look. And then a week later, well, I'll just look just once. Just once. Bam! Set you right back to where you were. Or constantly focused on how you're not getting that text message response back. I keep texting them. I keep trying different things, but they never text back. Why don't they ever text back? It's like, it's so frustrating, man, because all I want is just a freaking text message, right? And we work ourselves into an emotion. And you know what happens when we do that? Subconscious is like, hey. It's like a children in the other room. It's like a child in the other room, and you're the adult, you're the parent, and you just said 3 cuss words, and that kid just learned them right now, and oh my God, how these are going to come back and bite you in the you-know-what. And you know the kid would tell you what the word is. That's what happens when we just let our conscious self run through thoughts that aren't helpful. Now, for most of us, for most of the time, we catch ourselves doing these thoughts. We catch ourselves in the moment of them, and contrast, XE, right? Whatever you want to bless, release, and erase is one thing I say sometimes. And boom, start thinking about what you want. Awesome. Higher self, God, I think I was like, high five, boom. That's a victory. That truly is a victory. Whenever you notice that your thoughts are rambling on someplace, or whenever you notice you're thinking about something you don't want, and your conscious mind goes, and you're like, blah, 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 oh yeah. Grab your attention, focus it and shift it where you'd like to go. Those problems aren't that big a deal. This technique will still work for those, but you don't need to. It's the ones that are repetitious, the ones that keep popping up. You're interested in someone else, but you always seem to have these little nagging thoughts. You're not really good enough. Sometimes, the other people, they exercise. I know that girl he's interested in. She goes to the gym like once every 4 days. And, she has a really pretty clothes. And then that one other lady, she drives that really nice car, and he hangs out and talks with her. Like, I don't know if I can compete with any of these women because they've just got everything. How many of us go down conversations in our minds that are similar to this? Well, Betty's got so better stuff than I don't like. She's got everything, right? Ever since she had that rich husband, right? What are you focusing on? Doesn't matter if it has nothing to do with your manifestation. If you're focusing on something that's petty, something that's negative, something that's bad on another, gossiping and any other negative types of behaviors. And I'm not saying you cut out all the fun out of life, no. But sometimes when we're focusing on things that aren't necessarily beneficial to the big picture, maybe your specific person likes someone, likes you because you have a kind heart, but here you are secretly stabbing others in the back. Well, those kinds of things actually will come back and bite us. Knowing what the conscious mind is doing, paying attention to the conscious mind, catching it when it has these moments. And when you get those repetitive moments, I see the conscious mind kind of like the little child in ourselves. The little child in ourselves pretty much does what it should, but like a lot of kids, when you say don't do something, they almost invariably do, right? The standard, it's kind of funny, you put a wet paint sign on something like, don't touch this, and what do people do? They touch it. Wet paint sign is a guaranteed way to make someone touch your bench or whatever the hell you just painted. Guaranteed way to do it. The child in ourselves sometimes is a little finicky. Sometimes you need to be a little stern with it. When it keeps popping up and you keep getting those little negative thoughts, you're not good enough for this, or you're not smart enough for this job that you're trying to get, or you're not rich enough, or there's no way you can make that kind of money. How are you going to make that kind of money? You make $40 an hour, bro. How are you going to get up to that level? Whenever we have these kinds of beliefs, doubts, and thoughts in ourselves, and they just keep popping up, and you're like, no, and you push it back down. You're like, come on now, that's ridiculous. Of course I'm good enough. Of course I'm great enough. Throw a couple affirmations out there. Yeah, come on. And then a minute later, it's like, are you sure? Because you're not. Look at that person over there. She looks great in that leotard, doesn't she? Look at those legs, right? And you're just like, oh, stop. This is the place where you literally, that's all you have to do. Command your inner self to get on board. Look, here's the thing. We're here to have a better life. We're here to make a difference. We're here to find happiness. Tired of being single and all this crap. You are going to get on board. You're going to get on the train and you're going to help me out with this. This is what we're doing. I command you. I'm in charge. That's what we're doing. And I kid you not, your little child self will get back in line behind you and be a good boy. You might have to hassle it again down the road, but the fact of the matter is it's here to follow your lead. And sometimes we let that child do whatever the hell they want. I want candy. Okay, it doesn't matter. I want this. No, you're in charge. You're in charge. You're consciously in charge. That little nagging part of ourselves. And I kind of still see a separation of consciousness. I feel like there's this part of our consciousness that asks too many questions sometimes. It's part of ourselves. It's just like, bah, bah, bah. And you're like, dude, seriously, can you just give me like 10 minutes? Like, then I'll talk about why the sky's blue. It's that part of ourselves that sometimes you've got to put your foot down. Sometimes the child needs to understand that mommy and daddy are talking right now. You put a little bit of emphasis on this. You realize that all you've got to do is properly utilize your subconscious. Properly utilize your conscious. Do them both. Okay? The subconscious is there to help you whenever you need it. Need help? Hire yourself. Hey, can you offer some guidance? Give me some help. Help project something into my life, some sign, symbol, something to give me an idea. Do I go left or do I go right? And I'm not saying, is he right for me? Is he a good guy? No, that's your decision for the most part, unless you want to get into some specifics about who they are. But is it a job you want to do? Then boom, go for it. What's the way I need to do this? Do I need to get with an agency? Do I put my resume online and just call HR? Should I bug them? Should I wait a week? What talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, right? You got to figure out some way to get a plan inside your mind that you can live with and work with. And press the subconscious with what you're doing. Let the conscious mind know, hey, this is what we're focusing on. This is what we're creating. This is what we're going to spend time thinking about. And then sometimes if I'm bored, I might just think about other cool things like birds. And, oh, look at the little bunny rabbit that just hopped down that way. Oh, I don't know, it'd be fun and flip through a furniture mag. You know, like look for something fun that maybe you like to get some point. Like there's a lot of more positive thoughts that we can think about than maybe what's going on with Jackie and Jesse and what's going on with, you know, the so-and-so at work, or why my boss isn't talking to me right now, right? We don't need to think about any of these things. Put those thoughts aside. Focus on what it is that you'd like to do. You'd like to get that job. You'd like to be with that specific person. You'd like to have more love in your life. You'd like to get a better house, better car, better boat. You'd like to increase your income by some percentage within some period of time. Then do it. Ask your subconscious higher self, help me out. Let's do this. Let's get in line. Let's consciously choose to do this. And when that little nagging voice that you can't just throw an affirmation at it and be cool for a couple days, when it needs a bit more of taking you over my knee, right? And spank it. Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes you've got to be a little more forceful. I don't mean violent by any means, but you know, metaphorically speaking, you're in charge. This is your manifestation. And if there's a part of your mind that keeps, shh, I'm talking right now, not you. Be serious. Take ownership. Consciously take ownership of your life. And I kid you not, you will feel the empowerment afterwards. You will feel yourself feeling lighter and stronger every minute after. It's a powerful moment. And it's also one of those things that kind of hit me when I read this. I'm like, I remember a few times in my life where I was so frustrated and life had to change. I had to get out of the hole I was in. The debt, I didn't have the job and I needed to. I was getting to that place where it was starting to get scary and dark. And I remember declaring to the universe, I thought, to God, really, I thought, why hast thou forsaken me? And within that declaration, it was like a day later and bam. And that's happened on a couple occasions. And I was always like, is it the emotion? Was it because I was frustrated? No. I finally made a freaking declaration and said, this is how it will be. And things get in line. Conscious and subconscious get in line. And when your conscious mind is focused on proper things are what you experience. You want more joy in your life? You want more love in your life? You want more money and income and wealth in your life? Focus your conscious mind on these things as often as possible, and that will be your reality. Dan RadioStyle.